Saturday games. Fijian Drua versus Moana Pasifika. There's no new injuries on this one. Both got through with clean bill of health last week. Returning, we assume that we should see Kitione Salawa. He was one of the only players. He was the only player that wasn't taken over to Perth because he had a niggle. Then they said that he was available for selection last week, and then he just wasn't picked. So not really sure what's going on there, but we expect him to be back for this week. And maybe Dani Tuala would be the other one for me, but I'm not sure if he's injured or what was going on there.
In saying that with Salawa, I will say Mira has been playing some outstanding footy. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Salawa has still been the best seven by a long way, but Mira has been killing it. So it is there is a conversation.
Salawa's the best. Mira is good. But look, this is the battle of the Pacifica nations, the Pacifica sides. Love to see it. They've played each other once before in New Zealand last year, and Moana went down 34-36. A cracking, relatively high-scoring but tight match. This will be a belting game. I mean, if the Fijian Drua have been keen at every home match, but this is against the other new side. This is against the other Pacifica side. So if there's anything else drawing them in, they can sniff another win. They can sniff a battle with their, relative neighbours. This is going to be a cracking match with a very, very involved crowd.
Yeah, I was saying, Matt, I want a decibel reader at the stadium on this one because the Drua home games, it's crazy, the crowd volumes, but chuck in the Moana fans that'll make the way over for this game as well, and it'll be unbelievable. So talking about the Drua, I think, look, playing the Drua in Fiji is genuinely playing. I mean, we always talk about the 16th man, but this is the most genuine time. It's like playing an extra man.
They just have an extra defender. They have an extra defender. That's what it is.
100%. They just feed so much of their energy from the crowd, and it just every single player is getting up that second faster, is taking that extra step, getting that extra second of line speed. It's insane. It's like a different side playing in Fiji. And that's why we've seen them, take the top teams, like beat some of the top teams, take the rest of them down to the wire. So that's hugely intimidating for Moana, but they'll be up for it as well.
Guys, the big question for me here is probably just what happens to the left wing. Like Rakuro's had a few starts in a row now. I think he had a breakout first game, probably a little bit more quiet in the next two games. Aroni Sau, the sledgehammer, if for no other reason, it's the perfect tool to even get close to attempting to stop Tavatava Naya, who's just absolutely ridiculous. And I think he's just going to run over Rakuro. He's just too young, too small at this stage of his career.
Mate, not only is he going to run over Rakuro, he's going to split him into two. He won't survive the match. So I think you've got to put the sledgehammer out there. You've either got to put the sledgehammer out there, or you got to put one of your number 8s out there on the wing.
I was just going to say,
out there.
You have the white shark out there. And Tana Kavata can play at 8. I'm all for that. I think that's genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing is it time? I haven't wanted it this whole time, but is it time we see Marcy back out there getting another crack with Vota coming in the centres?
No, I think. Yeah, look, I was going to say Vota got a concussion, but I think he actually passed his AHIA. So I don't think so. I think they've shown their best centre pairing for the year, and Vota just hasn't had his chances.
Yeah, no, fair. We could see any of those combos, I think. But
the one I had, guys, the only other one was Frank Lamani, obviously missing last week. Don't know if that was rotation, but Teddy Teller the same as well. So I think maybe it was just trying to give the combination of Matawalu and Muntz a run, because maybe they're spending their time training in behind the scenes during the week together. So I reckon you get both those guys back. And I think Muntz was solid, but didn't probably do enough to earn himself selection, whereas Matawalu was bloody excellent. But Lamani has just been so consistent for them all year as well.
Yeah, Teller was there at the game. We saw him in the members. He was there and he looked fine, but I don't know, not selected, or he didn't appear to be carrying any injuries, but who knows?
He looked fine. Was he sprinting around and?
He was. I was racing him from a bar at one end to the other, and he looked fine. So, no, okay. All right, let's talk about Moana. Very simple for me. Please, for the love of God, start Jimmy Tavatava Naya. Why was he off the bench last week? He came off and immediately bumped 17 players out of the way to say, why am I off the bench? Start him. He is half the team. The other half of the team is Levi Aumua, so you need 100% of your team to be playing. No, he'll definitely be starting. A Fijian playing for Moana at home in Fiji will be huge. Yeah. So
I just want to put it out there, guys. Aaron Major this week announced that he's going to step down as the coach of Moana Pasifika. I believe that was off pressure after benching Nawai as the greatest player in Super Rugby.
And they actually forgot to say that Nawai is also going to be the new coach as well. He's going to be player coaching the team. And his strategy is give me the ball, boys. That's so
well, I mean, particularly without Levi Moore, his stats are going to be through the roof because he's going to have to make every carry.
No one else is going to do it for you. Give me the ball. I'll do it.
There's a decent chance he's going to offload to himself next year.
All right. Now, speaking of wingers, so Tavatavanaia on the left wing, I'll probably see on the right wing. Were we going to see Nerea Fomai or Tima Fainganuka, who played last week and I thought looked all right?
Fomai all day long, mate. Tima has never, ever been their first choice. I just don't see him. I don't think he's done anything. Fomai had a very, very quiet game, which was disappointing, but I think he's had a really good year and I think he'll start.
Fair enough. And Nels, last question for Moana Pasifika before we do tips.
So yes, Danny Tuala, does he return into the centre to have that combo again with Levi Almua instead of Fine Inisi? What do you think, Kat?
I guess, do we see Almua at 12 or 13? I mean, I personally think he's equally as effective at both positions. You know, usually you like to see someone at either 12 or 13. I don't care where he's at. He's equally damaging in both those positions. So it's just about who partners well with him. I think Inisi's been fantastic in the 13 jersey. Probably better than Toala has reached better heights than Toala has. So, I mean, I'd be happy to see Almua 12, Inisi at 13 if I had to pick.
I think the bleached hair is always like bonus points on performance as well, because everything he does, you see it. So I think if you bleach Danny Tuala's hair, I'm going for him.
Very good. All right. Tipping in this one, Harry, you can take us out. How do you see this landing?
It's going to be the Ndrua. I think they'll get it done, but I think it's going to be tight. I just think it's going to be a grudge match, throwing the ball around. I'm going to call it like 68 to 63. So what's that? 5 points to the Fijian Drua.
All right, I'll follow that up. I also think there's going to be lots of points scored, but I think the Drua are going to get it done by a bit more of a margin. So I'm going to say the Drua are going to win this by 15. Huge.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be a high-scoring match, and I actually think it's going to be the Fiji are going to get it done by a little bit more of a margin. So I'm going to say Fiji by 22.
Oof.
Jesus.
All right.
You're making me feel very insecure.
Yeah, sorry, mate.